YouTube, what is going on? This is your boy Jordan JC back again on the Chicago Bears Breeze. And today we got a good one because there are some juicy rumors and it doesn't sound good to me. According to the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank is saying that there are people in NFL circles that are close to Ryan Poles that have told him that he will be staying with the Bears. And get this, they have indicated to me, speaking about Adam Rank, that regardless of what happens at all, Matt Eberflus is coming back. We got to talk about it because right there, that latter statement that scares me. If Adam Rank is hearing sources and hearing credible people say that they think that Matt Eberflus's job is not necessarily in any sort of way in trouble, if his job is not on the line in any sort of matter, no matter if the Bears go 0-9 for the next handful of games, if they don't do anything good for the next part of this season, you're telling me that Matt Eberflus is going to come back. What is the reasoning behind that? Well, according to what some other people are saying, and especially I did a little research on, I believe the Chicago Tribune's Brad Biggs mentioned that because of Matt Eberflus's contract, he believes there's an additional year within his contract. A lot of that hasn't even been detailed, but he believes that his contract is extended all the way to 2026. And so because of the track record of the Chicago Bears constantly, we've seen them let go of a head coach and then bring a new quarterback in. Then that quarterback is stuck with the new head coach, and then that head coach gets fired, or that quarterback gets replaced. Then the new head coach doesn't work out, and now they replace the head coach. And it's this never-ending carousel of firings of head coaches and releasings and cuttings of quarterbacks. And I think the maybe the thought behind it is that, hey, we need to kind of break this chain and we need to make sure that, maybe we should keep Matt Eberflus around and see how this goes beyond this season. And maybe things will continue to get better, especially if the Chicago Bears continue to improve in the most important areas, like addressing this offensive line in the offseason with all of the draft picks they have. They can do that in bunches. But here's my question to you, Chicago Bears organization. How successful do you want to be? How successful do you want to be? Because the decisions that you made already and the decisions that you make going forward are going to impact whether or not this organization and whether or not this team is going to be winning anything anytime soon. And one of the biggest decisions that you have to make is at that helm, is at head coach. We've already seen the track record of Matt Eberflus. I mean, it is very obvious what Matt Eberflus's resume is like. The worst in Bears history. 0-17 again on the road on Sundays. 3-18 on the road overall. 2-10 versus the NFC North. 4 collapsing losses with a 92% chance or greater to win in the fourth quarter, and a 14-28 record overall. There have been quarterbacks there have been head coaches that have been fired for less. And so what you're telling me is that there's absolutely no way that Matt Eberflus loses his job regardless of what happens. We just saw the Chicago Bears lose embarrassingly to the Washington Commanders in embarrassing fashion off of a miracle Hail Mary. And then we also saw them come out and fall flat on their face on the side of the ball that we all thought was extremely elite. And it's still elite to by all metrics. But we saw a defense that didn't technically play their heart outs for their coach. We saw the message coming out of halftime from a coach that really doesn't seem to know how to get his band together, that really doesn't seem to know what the answers are on offense. Being a defensive-minded head coach, he doesn't seem to have the mind and the scheme for the offense and what to do on that side of the ball. And you're telling me that it'll be okay to retain that guy. And if Adam Rank is right with his sources, watch out. Look out for this organization. Look out for this team to continue to spiral out of control. To me, I've said it before. If you want to hold yourself to a higher standard, you have to do better. We've seen it all over sports. A team can get only so far with a certain level of talent leading them. The leadership has to improve. That's how you get a team. That's how you get players. That's how you motivate players to take it to the next level. Had a conversation with P. Kid off of the Windy City Breeze. And he mentioned it in a perfect example. You look at the NBA. The Golden State Warriors, before they started winning, had Mark Jackson. Excellent coach, right? A lot of people, including myself at the time, was wondering, well, why in the world would the Golden State Warriors get rid of Mark Jackson? He's the one that groomed all of these players. He's the one that had that team, that constructed team, and got them to a certain point. And yet, when Steve Kerr was available and Steve Kerr stepped in, you saw that they elevated, that they evolved in one of the dynasties of the league at that time in the early 2000s. And so what you're telling me is that when you see better, you're not going to go after it? When the Cubs saw Joe Madden available, they snagged that opportunity. What happened? They won a world championship, the first in many, 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 many years. Killed the longest drought ever in sports history. Again, when the Cubs had David Ross, who had an up-and-coming team right here, good hitting, good pitching, you saw this team getting on the rise. You saw a team that was playing well for its manager, a championship-winning manager. And yet when Craig Counsell was available, David Ross, thank you for head coaching our team. We have an option that we think will take us to the next level and continue our winning tradition that we're trying to bring here. You see it all throughout sports. You cannot sit on your hands and say, you know what, we're okay with okay. We're okay with good enough. Even Pat talked about that on ESPN 1000. Good enough is not good enough. You can't sit here and say that you see this track record. You see this abysmal track record against teams not only in his own division, but overall. And you're telling me that you want to keep this guy, that no matter how bad it gets this year, and it's already gotten bad, that you're okay with keeping this guy around. You're okay that even if the locker room is in disarray and the veterans of this team are starting to speak their mind, and people are saying, well, I don't like the way the coach is holding himself accountable versus how he wants to hold us accountable. You think it's okay to keep that poison in the locker room? You think it's okay to keep that around for the foreseeable future? That's how windows close. That's how when you talk about windows of opportunity open for teams to win, and we could be really special if we get this line right, addressing it next year, going forward and competing with the better teams in this division and in the league. That's how you mess it up. Another example, White Sox. Over the past 10 years, they had a slew of talent, whether it was hitters, whether it was pitchers, whether it was their farm system. Reinsdorf went and got his buddy because he felt he owed him he was in his debt. Brought Tony La Russa here, screwed up the entire window for that team to try to win a World Series. Very talented team. When you make bad decisions, you have to live with them. And unfortunately, I think the Bears, if this is true, are going to live a very long time with this bad decision. Ryan Poles has already made a bad decision by retaining him. If they continue to make bad decisions, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Ryan Poles is on the hot seat. He's got to go then. If this is in any way true and they care about, oh, well, you know what, we don't do business again this way. We know the Bears organization doesn't fire people in the middle of the season. That much we know. But if you're telling me that at the end of the season, you're evaluating Matt and saying, you know what? Because of our track record of always getting rid of coaches, we never retain people. We never just try to stick it out and see how things go. Let's stick it out. Let's keep Matt around a few more years. Let's just see how things go. Maybe it'll get better. All we need is just this little fix here and this little repair there. Sure, you can make the team around Matt Eberflus better and better and better. This offensive line can be a juggernaut in a few years if you get it right. And yet you're telling me you don't want a better head coach or the potential of a better head coach? You wouldn't want a chance at a Ben Johnson who has been clamoring for this job for the last year or so? Perhaps a Bobby Slowick? This is organization malpractice. I talked about having coaching malpractice which Matt Eberflus has clearly shown over this past year. This is organization malpractice if this happens. And so I sincerely hope with all the breath in my lungs that this is not true, and that they smarten up and they wisen up and they know that inside that building, we've got to make changes that are going to make sure that this team and this organization, this city has a winner, and that we're catered to winning. We're not catered to mediocrity anymore. We're not catered to good enough. We're not catered to just skating by. We can't be just okay with that. And so I really want to get you guys' thoughts on this. I mean, this is news that really is disturbing. It's alarming. And like I said, obviously a lot of people are claiming that, sources say this, sources say that. Adam Rank is a credible name. And so if he's saying that there are people that are close to Matt Eberflus that are saying that, hey, his job is intact, he's got nothing to worry about. That's alarming. I sincerely hope that's not true, because everybody, no matter what, should be evaluated based off of the results of how they go about their business. This is a results-based business. It's a results-based game. You win, you keep your job. You lose, and you lose consistently. You also lose the respect of your players. You lose the camaraderie. You lose the chemistry. You lose the connection. You lose your voice in the locker room. There's no more excuses. Doesn't matter how many years you have on your contract. Goodbye. And so I sincerely hope that this is not the case, but want to get you guys' feelings. Do you feel that Matt Eberflus is safe with his job? How credible do you think that this report is? Adam Rank, again, he does have connections. And unfortunately, we've already seen Matt Eberflus kind of stick around longer than we probably thought he would. And so could he stick around even longer based off of his own personal contract? Do you think that he keeps his job? Let's just say they beat Green Bay. Do you think that he keeps his job just because he beats the team up north? How do you feel about that, Bears fans? Obviously, I'll be down there with you in the comment section as always. And as always, if you like this video, show some class. Comment, like, subscribe, share this video with others. I'll see you guys on the next Bears Breeze.